Today on the show, we're going to be talking about Rose Wilson, Ravager, the daughter of Deathstroke. If you didn't know that she learned to be a hero because of Nightwing, then this show is for you. So Rose Wilson, she was created by Marv Wolfman and she first appeared in Deathstroke number 15 in 1992. So Slade Wilson would meet Lillian on a search and rescue mission where Slade had to get Lillian out of Cambodia, and the two would hit it off, have a bit of the sex, and along came Rose. Lillian would actually keep Rose a secret from Slade because she felt Slade's life wasn't exactly the safest thing in the world and she didn't want her daughter exposed to that. So she would eventually settle down in a brothel in New York, and later on she would meet up with Slade once again. And this is where Slade's butler would see a 14-year-old Rose and go, "You are totally Deathstroke's daughter." But later on, when Wade Defarge would want to kill off all of Slade's friends and family, he would find Rose, capture her, and reveal to her the truth about who her father is. It would only be thanks to Rose's mother driving a Jeep off a cliff, sacrificing herself, that Rose was able to continue living. Rose would obviously go to her father because she has no one else, and Deathstroke was a bit like, a kid plus my lifestyle? No, and I've already lost 2 sons. There is no way I can be a father. So he leaves Rose in the care of the Teen Titans. During training, Rose would be badly injured and would have to be taken to hospital, and this is where her powers first reveal themselves. She has an in-depth vision of Deathstroke's future. She doesn't really test out the powers any further, and soon after this she would leave the Teen Titans and we wouldn't see her again for a long time. Turns out, when Rose left the Teen Titans, she was adopted by the Madison family in Chicago, but then Defarge would come along and kill them because he had been told to kill them by an anonymous source and they had paid him $10,000. Turns out this anonymous source was actually Deathstroke. He actually wanted Rose closer to himself, and he figured the best way to do this was to put her through trauma. Later on, Rose would wake up in Deathstroke's lair after being attacked and having to be saved by the Teen Titans, and this is where Deathstroke makes Rose his apprentice and tells her that her first kill is going to be Defarge. But there were a couple of bad things going on here. First off, Deathstroke started injecting Rose with the same serum that gave Deathstroke his abilities, but the thing is, Rose was still really young. Way too young to be taking that serum. Her body and mind were still developing, and because of that, the serum caused her to fall into psychosis. And secondly, Rose was a kid. She really didn't have it in her to kill in the beginning, and because of this, Deathstroke was like, oh, my daughter's not going to be loyal to me. So Rose, to prove her loyalty to Deathstroke, gouged her own eye out so she could match her dad. Later on, Dick Grayson would be going through a bit of a rough patch and a whole mess of things would happen, and it would result in Dick Grayson actually tutoring Rose in how to fight. But what he actually did was tutor Rose in heroism. During this time, Rose learnt that Dick Grayson was really attractive. She had the biggest crush on Dick Grayson, and it was really cute to read. But Deathstroke would plant some kryptonite in Rose's missing eye socket, and then Rose and Nightwing would have to go and fight Superman, and Rose isn't able to kill Superman because she's learned about heroism from Nightwing, and this is where Deathstroke is like, stay away from my daughter, you're corrupting her to be good, and Nightwing's like, okay, I'll stay away from your daughter as long as you stay away from Bloodhaven, but later on Bloodhaven would be destroyed. After this, Nightwing would find out that the kryptonite is still in Rose's eye socket, so he would turn around to her and say, hey, you know that stuff is lethal, right? Having that in your eye socket can kill you, even though you're not a Kryptonian. And Rose didn't know this and was heartbroken that her father would endanger her life like that, and she cut off all ties from Deathstroke and just walked away. 1 year after Infinite Crisis, Tim Drake would allow Rose to join the Teen Titans as a favour to Nightwing, because Nightwing had always been an older brother figure to Tim Drake, because in the 90s, for a little bit, Nightwing was Batman and Tim Drake was Robin, so they had this older brother, younger brother kind of chemistry going on, and Nightwing was one of the founding members of the Teen Titans, so Tim really didn't have any room to say no to Rose joining when Nightwing wanted her to join. Rose had changed though. She didn't take the serum anymore, which meant her emotions were a lot more balanced, and because of that, she was actually a better fighter. When Rose first joined the Teen Titans, it was very clear that she was very different to the rest of the team. First off, she drank a lot. Like, a lot. One time she got so drunk she tried seducing Tim Drake while Tim Drake was just fast asleep, and this was obviously totally unrequited and was almost a bit of a rape situation. Secondly, she smoked, and she was the only member of the Teen Titans at this time to smoke. Now, in real life this wouldn't be a big deal, but drinking and smoking when you're on a team with Tim Drake, the Titan that treats his body as a temple, the Titan that learned how to treat his body from Batman, it's kind of a big contrast and makes her stand out among the Titans, but she was very close to Eddie Bloomberg, Kid Devil. The team would go off in search of Raven, who is apparently on the run from a traitor to the Titans, and this is where Rose would be accused of being the traitor by Bombshell, and Rose is absolutely furious and she almost quits the team. But this is where Wendy and Marvin would tell Rose that the traitor only stole one item, the disc with Jericho's essence. Rose goes back to the team, but it turns out that Bombshell was the traitor all along, and Rose is actually able to save the Teen Titans, and then Raven is able to do a spell on the disc with Jericho's essence to bring him back to life. Jericho is obviously Rose's older brother, and the two of them get very close almost instantly. Meanwhile, the whole team is unaware that this whole betrayal was orchestrated by Deathstroke. Later on, Nightwing, Rose, and Jericho would find this demented version of the original Titans Tower on Titans Island in New York, and they would go inside and they would find that Deathstroke has captured the rest of the Titans, all in order to gain control of Rose and Jericho. It would only be thanks to the original Titans, Dula Dent and Bar Allen, that the day would be saved and most of the Titans weren't killed. Later on, Rose would be attacked by the Terra Titans, and she is able to save herself by exploding a part of the Titans' tower. She then goes to save Wonder Girl and infiltrate the Terra Titans' base and faces off against the Clock King, but he has precognitive abilities as well, so the battle is just way too even, so Rose has to leave. Rose would overhear Tim and Wonder Girl bitching about her almost killing the Terra Titans in battle, and how Rose would have to be punished for this. So Rose is totally pissed off, leaves, and joins the Terra Titans herself, and this is where the Terra Titans spin-off begins. Rose works really hard in this series. She joins the Terra Titans just to infiltrate them to figure out what's going on with Clock King, and it turns out that he just wants an army of mind-controlled teenagers to destroy LA for kicks. But then the day is saved by Miss Martian, and Rose really has nothing to do with the saving of the day. After this, Rose would return to the Titans, and Jericho had been attacked by Vigilante, but he wasn't stable at this point, so he began to want to kill off all of the Titans, so Rose had to join all of her teammates in stopping her own brother, and after this, she would just leave the team full stop. Rose would have her own Teen Titans tie-in to Blackest Night, and in this issue, Rose would fight Deathstroke. It's because of this battle with Deathstroke, though, that Rose realizes she still needs Deathstroke as a father figure, or she needs some kind of parental figure in her life, and Deathstroke can't be that person because he's not cut out for it. But she realizes that her mother wasn't among the Black Lanterns, so her mother must still be alive somewhere. Rose would rejoin the Titans, and like most other Titans, she was in the final battle against Superboy Prime, and she was able to turn the tides of battle by stabbing a whole bunch of clones of Superboy with kryptonite. And after this, it would be the New 52, which Rose has been in, sparingly. She was an agent for Nowhere in the Teen Titans book, and then 20 years in the future in the Teen Titans book, she's married to Beast Boy, who was green without explanation at that point, and he goes by Beast Man as well, which was kind of interesting, but also kind of a bit like, Rose and Beast Boy? I didn't see that coming, so I really want to see the storyline that evolves that relationship. I really want to write Rose one day, and I'll tell you why. She is a messed up teenage girl. That would be the perfect book just to give out a whole bunch of messages about my frustrations with society, about how this world works and why I don't really like it for the most part. I could just watch the news one night, vent by writing a comic, and then that would be the next month's issue. That would be perfect. It wouldn't be easy because it would be incredibly emotionally draining to do, but also a lot of fun, and there will be so many esoteric messages in it, and I would absolutely love it. It would just be all of my frustrations in comic book form. It's super effective! Okay guys, that is it for today. So what do you think of Rose Wilson? Please let me know in the comments down below. And also don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more history videos. And also don't forget to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, support the show by checking out my Patreon so I can make bigger and better and more history videos. And also don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel. My name is Faust, this has been Exploring Comics, and it is super effective.